Time Jam! Get up and slam, and welcome to Time Jam! That was close to the lyrics, but not close enough to get sued. Alright, so Time Jam we've played technically once before, but if you check your heart spiritually, we have played this another time in a long lost episode, a mythical episode, one may say.
Which we love to say.
We do love
and talk about.
Because it was a really good episode. Sorry you guys will never get to hear it. Their best one yet.
Yeah.
All 60 bald ladies out there. I'm really sorry about that. But Time Jam is a game sort of like... It's like an imaginary draft that me and Gregory play, where we try to create the best possible team for a sporting arrangement of our wants. Originally, we did a basketball team, a la the original Space Jam. On the Lost episode, we did a hot dog eating competition where I believe Majin Buu was our captain.
Yes.
Skirting through the thing where... Skirting through my my game rules just a little bit. Mainly real people.
Just a little.
Just a little. But I mean,
That's
if it's
not a real
funny,
rule, so it's okay.
Whatever. But today we are going to be constructing a 4-person spelling bee team. Now you'd be like, are there teams in spelling bees? I go, I don't know. I lost in a spelling bee. I was in there one time. I studied my ass off and I lost. It was the 3rd grade. I've never stopped thinking about it. They asked me to spell Adobe, like the clay. I'll never forget that word. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, Adoughtbee, because Adobe. Nope, that's not correct. And so I'm sitting there. My class wasn't, we did it in the cafetorium, and my class was watching on our class set TV in the classroom. So they're like, oh, Nick, you can just stay and watch it. So I, the loser, the first one out, walks down, and I'm like, I have to watch the rest of this live and see all the words I would have spelled right, because I've always been good at spelling, as long as it's not the word separate. Can't do that one.
Or Adobe, apparently.
I can do Adobe now. It's burned into my soul. And it's fucked. I would have been a professional speller if it wasn't for that. Anyway.
Oh boy.
Greg, would you
and
like
that ends our Time Jam segment.
Sorry, I sort of lost my brains there. So, spelling bee team, we have two historical figures each. We are going to create the best spelling team we think, and we're going to decide between us who is the captain of our spelling team. Spelling bees typically, you know, they sit on a bunch of chairs, and the judge will ask them to spell a word. They have a chance to ask some questions about said word. Use it in a sentence. What's the definition, language of origin, stuff like that. And they have one chance to spell it right. You know, you can't go backsies, which I think is a dumb rule. And yeah,
Adobe.
That basic fuck you. That basically sums up the rules. So, Greg, would you like to get us started on our first member of the spelling bee team?
Of course. Our first member is going to be Kiki Palmer.
Kiki Palmer?
Kiki Palmer in her seminal role as Aquila from Aquila and the Bee.
Oh.
Best speller I've ever seen in my life, I tell you what. I tried looking up if Aquila and the Bee was based on an actual person and didn't find anything, but you know what? I'm going to assume that there's some basis of truth, as is in most stories. Aquila won her spelling bee, despite the ending of the movie in which, you know, she's like, oh, I don't want my enemy friend to get abused by their parent. I'm gonna split the reward. And I think that just shows a lot of great character. But she did win, and that's why I want her on our team. Aquila from Aquila and the Bee, aka Kiki Palmer. Nick, who's your second and/or first draft pick?
Oh, so my first pick is, so the biggest thing about spelling bees is the spell aspect. So I was like, who do I know that can do spells better than Aleister Crowley? So Aleister Crowley, you may know him as a famous, I believe he was a Satanist. He was an occultist at the very sure, a ceremonial magician, one may say. Uh,
Yes, I'm a ceremonial magician.
a frequent user of hallucinogenic drugs. So I think he can I think he can tap in to this otherworldly experience he's gained, and look into and just get like it's like you're spelling against like 5 people trying to go against Aleister Crowley, because or at least 3 people, because he split himself into his ego, the super ego, and the id. I feel like anyone is just immediately in a disadvantage, because not only he's fucking intimidating, but he is bisexual, and that does make him an icon.
Oh, he wrote the Book of the Law. I knew he was familiar, that name. Aleister Crowley. Well,
Also,
I'm happy to have him on the team, Nick.
Also racist, I think.
Was he? I thought he was actually very open about women taking control of themselves.
He liked exotic women.
Ah.
Yeah, maybe not.
Not so sure I want him on
the
team
quickest
with
icon
Keke Palmer.
revoking. How about...
They will have separate rooms.
Yeah, separate buildings. How about your second person?
My second pick is not a person. Nick, I think you saw this coming.
Is it Jerry Seinfeld?
It's going to be Barry B. Benson.
How predictable.
As played by Jerry Seinfeld. It's a B movie. You get it? Because it's a spelling bee. And he's a bee. Who would know more other than Aleister Crowley and Keke Palmer? And
he also likes exotic women.
Who, Jerry Seinfeld or?
No, the bee.
Keke Palmer. Oh.
Fucks a grown human lady.
It's been a while since I've seen it. Apparently, it's on Netflix.
It's a great movie.
Maybe I'll revisit it.
It's like
but I do remember.
It becomes a legal
I do remember Barry B. Benson was an incredible speller in the film. And maybe that's just one of the 8 movies, but I think it's enough to get us to the semifinals. That's why I want him on our team.
My
Go on.
final member. I am picking Russian novelist Leo Tolstoy.
What?
I think
That's a great choice.
Leo Tolstoy, one of the greatest literary minds of all time, at the very least of Europe. Now, a lot of people don't know this. Leo Tolstoy, in his pastime, was an avid beekeeper, which means he is at home with the bees. So not only does he have this vast literary knowledge, he did, was it War and Peace? Yeah, War and Peace.
Yeah, War and Peace.
Anna Karenina.
Horrible movie.
Anna Karenina. 1878, before movies were invented. The book.
Horrible film adaptation.
I also like The Death of Ivan Illich. It's probably my favorite. It's his most accessible story, but it's also my favorite of his. I think because he has all this knowledge, so he's got this mastery of the language. Plus, he's been around bees, so the biggest killer is not. So the biggest killer at spelling bees is not knowing how to spell something, unless you're me, Dobie. It is the nervousness. It is being in front of all these people watching. It is the sweat dripping down your brow. It's the bad microphone they use on purpose so you don't hear them clearly. It's
I'm sweaty mom spaghetti.
Exactly. There's vomit on Leo Tolstoy already. Tolstoy 2. That's the one where Sid's there.
Nick, you're just killing it today. Come on, man. Phenomenal.
But Leo Tolstoy, I think he is a Russian kind of stone-faced man. He's not going to be nervous. Akila may be a little nervous. I think she's got the spirit. Aleister Crowley, after about an hour, the sweats start happening because of all the drugs he's on.
All the drugs.
Barry B. Benson is a bee. They don't live very long. That's why we need the Iron Man himself, Leo Tolstoy.
I 100% agree. I think Leo Tolstoy should be our team leader. He was a beekeeper, apparently.
Exactly.
He can keep track of Barry B. Benson.
Ooh,
And
even amazing.
And Aquila, I mean, like I said, I say she won, but on record, she tied. So I don't want her making the final call when it's like, oh, the other person's gonna get beat by their dad if they lose. I don't know. I want to fucking win. Let's bring a trophy home.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Aleister Crowley wants a trophy as well. Did Leo Tolstoy, were his works translated, or did he write them in English?
I believe he wrote them in Russian, and they were translated.
That
into
might
English.
cripple us a little bit, but I still think he should
But
be our team
Russian
leader.
language still uses English letters.
Yeah, there we
They're
go.
just kind of silly looking.
Perfect. Oh man, I'm glad we agree this time, Dave.
That's a
We
good
have not
one.
agreed
I was expecting you
fast.
to fight on that one. I'm glad that
Oh,
we
no.
that we agreed.
As long as it's not Aleister Crowley or Aquila, I'm going to tie the B.
Oh man,
Oh man, that was incredible.
amazing! What a good round. Thank you. That was our time gem.
Yep.
Our team, Aquila, played by Kiki Palmer from Aquila and the Bee. We have real life occultist, the master of spells, Aleister Crowley. We have tiny little fella Barry B. Benson, played by the worst part of Seinfeld, the TV show. And of course, we have the seminal novelist Leo fucking Tolstoy.
Tolstoy, our captain.
Get out of here, Prospector Pete. Kind of look like Tolstoy. All right, that
Very
was
fair.
a really fun round. Dare I say,
That was
better than the one we lost, maybe.
Possibly.
You'll never know.
Possibly. Yeah, you won't.
So,
Sorry.